So the real value is in being able to offload that, So that's where all the middlemen come in.
That's right. If 80% of your product's going out the back door, do you really care about what the 20% people are asking for?
Yeah.
No, you're just going to give them the best of whatever the 100% is, and then give all the trappers the 80%.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy, man, because it's a house of cards. I mean, some states are set up a lot better than others, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But California is just, it's going to get to a point where, the biggest operators out there are either losing a shit ton of money or, like you're saying, backdooring majority of their stuff.
Well, we'll see how long they can keep paying their bills in cash, or see how long they can hemorrhaging money.
And Metrics got lawsuits against them right now too, because I forget one of the admin guys at Metric, one of the higher ups there, was caught on a live recording saying that they know stuff's being backdoored and they're not doing anything to stem it. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's weird too, because that's a system that's actually worked pretty well in other states. Like Colorado, I didn't see when we were out there, but it's worked better.
It's never worked. I mean, it doesn't. You can't. Tracking where the plant was grown doesn't really matter. All you really need to track is once it's trimmed. You see what I'm saying? Like you'd be better if you want to stop backdooring weed. You'd be better off not spending any money on tracking and tracing any of the growing product, right?
And just worried about harvested weight.
Yeah, and so if you had everybody watching the harvest cameras whenever everyone's harvesting, right, or what, you'd be more effective at stopping them by stopping them when they're leaving the facility with the pounds than you would be trying to keep track of plants in a grow and what actually yielded and what didn't yield. I mean, it's easy to just say that these 100 plants yielded 20 pounds instead of 100. And then if no one's paying attention to where the 80 other pounds goes out the back door, then it doesn't matter what some guy typed into the metric account.
I think it's even easier when it comes to the extract side of it. You know what I'm saying? Because you just bring the stuff in. What are you going to watch?
I'm going to destroy it. It tested hot for mold. You just send in them, you have a batch of 100 pounds of weed, right, that you just bought off of somebody to extract. This is what most people are doing, right? But even if you just want to backdoor it straight out of your own grow, all you got to do is fudge some metric numbers.
Yeah.
No one's watching once it leaves. So that's their main problem. It's you're not going to stop anybody if you're not stopping them. What, your fucking paperwork is going to stop them? No, it doesn't stop anybody. That's why there's so much fraud in this fucking country. Paperwork didn't stop anybody. It's just another checkpoint they got to get through. They don't give a fuck.
I don't know, man. Well, how do you think things are going to change if and when it goes federally legal? Is that going to...
I think the overproduction issues and all that stuff will only get worse.
It's just going to get worse?
Yeah, because it's going to be all the people that aren't trying to give the customer what they need. They're just trying to fill a vacuum that lack of access has had. That's what everybody in every state did. These big companies like Glass House and shit, they're just growing fuckloads of cheap, crappy weed, right? They're only alive because they're backdooring pounds, just like most of these big fucking greenhouse grows. They're not. So, do they actually have a viable business? No. Their business would not survive if they had to actually only sell to people within their own state legally. It wouldn't exist. They couldn't create enough revenue. I mean, they grow half of the state's supply a year or something like that. It's like what the state needs to consume, they're growing half that amount. They have the productive capacity to grow. If the state needs 1 million pounds to smoke, they're able to grow 500,000 pounds a year, or how much ever it is. The thing is, though, is even the legal weed is getting diverted in California. So California's real market size, once all states around it are legal and there's no shipping to the East Coast or anything like that necessary because the East Coast has its own grows, it's going to be way smaller than the rec market will be even smaller than it is right now in California.
You don't think there'd still be demand though from the neighboring states? You know what I mean? No. California would probably fill some of the demand for...
Who ships weed to Oregon from California?
Yeah, well, I get not black market, but I'm talking about...
In fact, the only direction I know weed moving between Oregon, Washington, and California is to California. Because people are growing better, higher quality shit in states around California where it's cheaper to produce it, and then bring it to California and sell it to California consumers that want better product than the rec markets. Like,
I guess that's one thing that's flip-flopped.
In fact, I would say that if you look at most of this shit, California is probably a net importer of high-quality brands. There's probably more high-quality brands that send their product to California to get sold to locals and worldwide consumers from California than there is California brands that are only selling to Californians.
You think so?
I'd say it's getting pretty close.
Wow.
Because a lot of people have moved, even people from California have moved out of the state to do their operation where it's cheaper to operate.
It's just funny because like 5-10 years ago, it was the complete opposite.
It's too expensive to grow in California. Like, I'm not saying it's not Californians, but like there's tons of guys that went to Oklahoma, set their shit up there because it's way cheap. They get way more lights, almost no regulation. Now they're shipping their shit back to California to get sold.
It's just crazy. Like, we've never had anything else like this. You know what I mean? Like, something that's regulated so differently from state to state, and the fact that it's federally illegal. Like, it just creates so many weird opportunities and advantages and disadvantages, and creates so many opportunities for illegal business.
Yeah.
You know, because it's set up that way. Where
Exactly.
It's like, man, it seems like if we all just did what most people would vote for and be in favor of anyway. What's just like the logical solution. Fully legalized weed, some sort of assimilation of all the states and integrate some type, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just, I don't know, I think we'll look back at these times, I mean, we always look back and say, oh, it's the Wild West of like weed right now. Like, it was crazier 10 years ago, you know? But I think eventually all the dust has to settle and things will look very different. And we'll look back at these times like, wow, that was chaotic, you know?
Yeah, I think it's true for any new industry that's becoming regulated or industrialized. You got a lot of people that are trying to do it, but at the end of the day, it's going to be the brands that deliver a promise to their consumer and deliver on that survive.
Yeah.
And there will be a lot of them because the cannabis industry is really big. I just think the people that their business plan is to supply a need, not provide a unique experience or a branded experience, are people that won't survive long term because they're not focusing on their customer. Look, take a page from Amazon or any of those guys. Focus on the consumer, what they want. Find who your consumer is and focus what they want.